cover quite a few things because, of course, knowledge itself is quantum. Once you do receive a certain level of knowledge and the stone begins to tumble, many things begin to unlock themselves. So the first thing that we're going to get into is the even and the odd. Actually, the term Eva or Evan comes from the Gaelic term, which actually meant serpent. And this is just researchable. There's a lot of things that I think the whole dimension is going to have to fess up to at this point if it's expecting to get to the other level. What's happening here is that on this dimension, some people think that this dimension is 3D. But of course, the dimension corresponds to how you see. How you see is the dimension that you're on. And because as human beings, when we see things as a flat picture, basically with shadowing. We are, in certain essence, two-dimensional beings. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring forth insurmountable evidence to prove that the two-dimensional structure is in place on a great deal of our body, and it's gotten itself into our mind also. And it's when graduating from the two-dimensional binary duality that one actually comes into the next phase, because there's phases and phases. The Most High took off with these phases a long time ago, and everything that's intelligent is in pursuit of the Most High. Before we begin, I wanted to talk about consciousness, and of course, as everyone that's listened to me talk before, I would jump around in many different areas because that's simply how my brain functions. But you'll definitely have something here to extract and to put into your life that is going to allow you to push forward into wholeness, not pieces. So what we have is that there is a certain level of consciousness that's endowed onto the species at a certain point. If you notice when you watch an ant walking, and it's walking behind several ants in a line, and it's on what we would call a hive line. These beings are moving by instinct because on that level of consciousness, it's most necessary for those animals to stay into what we would call, as a genetic scientist, an ecosystem, so that things don't just come unchained from the bottom all the way to the top. So you can see how the ant in its instinct is actually a benefit, because an ant endowed with what we call consciousness is not going to walk in the line. It's going to figure out how not to bring the food to the queen. It's going to figure out how it maybe can branch off into another ant land, how it maybe can marry another ant girl. So this is the ant with consciousness. So what we're dealing with here is when the human being, which is called the crown of the creation, has been endowed with these abilities to be able to